Hello, everyone, and welcome to part two of our Jhalak Conversations. The topic and the event we are focusing on is called Pratiroop, a reflection.
Sham, 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 ratat pyari. Sham.
So, in this idea that was started and conceived by Divya Warrior and her Family Warrior Foundation, today we're going to be in conversation with three very well known gurus from three different styles, three different classical styles. We begin with Sharmila Bishwas, who is so beloved, respected, and admired as a choreographer, innovator, and a performer in Odissi. We speak to Sharmila from her home in Kolkata. Sharmila, welcome to the conversation. You are mentoring a Bharatanatyam dancer for this particular digital festival. You are no stranger, Sharmila, to Bharatanatyam. I know a few years ago you worked with a Chennai dancer, Lakshmi Parthasadi Atreya. So tell me about the challenges of the Odissi kinetic and the Bharatanatyam kinetic. What do you feel are the main challenges that you have experienced, and what have you been able to overcome with your past experience?
Let me first talk about this is a mentoring process which I like a lot. There are many positive things which can come out and there are certain negative things. I'll talk about that. Now, your question of challenges of Bharatanatyam Odissi. You can say experience does help, like my experience, previous experience. But ultimately, I am mentoring the dancer. I am not kind of teaching or choreographing. So in mentoring the thoughts and the process, you know, how to create the dance is most important. In fact, I don't find it challenging. I find it refreshing because every time she does a movement, I say, oh, we do it like this in Odissi. Oh, how do you do this in Bharatanatyam? You know, so it's good.
But now, I have noticed, I saw an Odissi dancer adapt a Bharatanatyam Tillana into her repertoire, and I find a lot of Odissi poses that Bharatanatyam dancers have slowly incorporated, especially the poses to do with Shringara, you know, and Kama. Maybe it's from the sculptures from Konark elsewhere. You are very strong in drumming and rhythm, Sharmila. You know, you've done so much research on Odissi drumming and the kind of vitality that non-urban Odissi has. Bharatanatyam also has a very strong rhythm component. Did you perhaps explore with your mentee about changing a little bit of the rhythm structures of Bharatanatyam, like the 3-speed jati or certain ideas, and including something of maybe some references maybe or inspirations from the Odissi style of drumming?
Well, I wouldn't say, references from Odissi, rhythm. In fact, our subject is rhythm, the unconscious rhythm, which happens all around us, which happens when we are born, the moment we are born with our heartbeats, and then the conscious rhythms we create out of those unconscious rhythms. So it is about rhythms, which is interesting. And yes, what actually I wanted to kind of give in this, not about Odissi like we do, what do you do? Not like that, or the 3s and 4s and the number calculations or the tihais. But what we worked was like layering of rhythms. You have one refrain going on and there's another one. So, the ups and downs of that, because we were constantly talking about conscious and unconscious rhythms. That was interesting. And that rhythm is not only about percussive, sounds. It went into the melodious notes, how to use that in a different way, in a way we usually don't use. So it's got nothing to do with Odissi and Bharatanatyam as such.
Bharatanatyam dancers seem to feel that in the style, Bharatanatyam has a very strong ability to create imagery and metaphor. The idea of Sanchari Bhava and those kind of dramatic elements. But what is it for you? What are some of the aspects of Bharatanatyam that you admire?
Well, I admire the lines, which everybody does. The precision and the lines. You see, we have to know that, Bharatanatyam, Odissi, Kuchipudi, they actually come from one source, more or less. They are kind of emerging. And it's interesting to see when Odissi goes to Orissa, the nature of people, the culture there, how it has made it softer, more, lyrical and all that. So Bharatanatyam, those I admire a lot. I also admire the detailing of expressions which we see in the old dances.
Yes.
Which, so I would like to bring them in her dance and other dances, of course, but in this mentoring I'm talking about, we discuss those also, the expressions and the truthfulness. Sometimes, we kind of, we have learned to generalize too much. Happy means happy, or we sometimes take abstract things like planets and globes and whatnot, and we don't know how to give shape to it through music and form. So these kind of truthfulness, I think the precision of Bharatanatyam, those ideas, not what she's showing me, but as a form, that always inspires me.
Over the pandemic, Sharmila, you've been particularly conscious of the camera as being not just an eye that watches, but also becomes a co-performer. No matter what we create, when we create for the digital medium, the choreography needs to be adjusted, needs to be transformed. So you have presented works with lighting and certain set design components in mind. Have you shared that also in this mentoring process?
Not yet. Because our process is like still going on, and these I need to see the dance and the music more closely. And you see, this mentoring, I would like to mention here, is that mentoring is not about kind of cradling her, or like I'm not her crutch, I'm not even her push. I'm there mainly to see and wait and watch, and what emerges out of her, I try to mold it, I to give it, make it different. I can kind of challenge her. I can make her absolutely angry and, live it and, hate me. and all that. But still, out of all that, you know, the brainstorming and everything comes, and that's what mentoring is about for me.
I agree that the trying to push that younger dancer beyond comfort levels, because
Yes.
I think, yeah, I think that's so needed, because it's so easy with the amount of information that's available now for this younger generation online. It's too easy to copy or imitate. And for them to find their own organic voice is, I think, could be one of the most vital and crucial roles of a mentor. You know,
In
so
fact, that was in the beginning, it was like when the concept was more or less kind of clear, coming, you know, pretty clear for both of us. There were so many things, so many talks and this and that. Then first thing I told her, okay, point wise, the main points. I want one sentence, and not more than 5 sentences to describe what you want to do. Clean, simple, credible. So that really helped, because as you say, the informations were so much and we need to use them all at the same time.
mm, uh, I think, Sharmila, that I'm going to be very interested in seeing this process, that, you know, in whatever avatar it unfolds. And I'm hoping that the organizers will have an opportunity to present it live, you know, so that we can really get the actual rasa of it. The digital medium robs us so much of that possibility of it. But to have you and to just have selected you as one of the mentors, I think I congratulate Divya Warrior. And I continue to be so interested in the way you think, the way you perform, the way you teach, the way you approach your art. So you continue to be a very important marker for me. I just want you to know that.
I would also like to say, Anita, that when you talk to me, you know, about dance, anytime, I remember so many occasions. Every time I find it that I am putting something in my purse, new.
Okay, so now, Sharmila, on this platform, I'm saying you are going to choreograph something on me for the year 2022, and we will take it forward. All right? Yes. So thank you so much for this conversation. I look forward to the final product. Thank you, Sharmila. Our next featured artist is Kathak guru and beautiful performer, quiet, intelligent, and somebody who I consider a favorite, Prerna Srimali from New Delhi. Prerna is an artist who needs to be seen more often, but here she is in the avatar of a mentor. So Prerna, welcome to the conversation.
Thank you.
And you are mentoring a dancer whose work I'm familiar with, Pranamya Suri from California.
Yeah.
And Pranamya's medical half of her other avatar is something that's very interesting. You know, she used that for something that she had submitted to us a year and a half ago.
Mm-hmm.
But let's talk about this cross mentoring across styles. You know, you in your gharana of Kathak,
yes,
that is certainly not flashy and full of the chakkars that we tend to associate today's Kathak with. And then there is Kuchipudi, again, that has a sense of flash. You know, what we call, there's a lachak to Kuchipudi, a certain kind of naughtiness, a kind of mischief that sometimes I miss in Bharatanatyam. I enjoy that part of Kuchipudi.
I was just saying that, yeah, in comparison to Bharatanatyam, yes.
Yes. So tell me about, what is it about Kuchipudi? Because you're in Delhi, you're exposed to all the styles. So what is it about the Kuchipudi form that you have found interesting?
First of all, I want to tell you that I have yet to see Pranamya's dance.
Okay.
I haven't seen her dancing, first of all. About Kuchipudi, what I liked, because long back when I was a kid, I have seen Yamini ji doing Kuchipudi. And she was a lioness, and she was gorgeous and goddess on the stage.
Yes.
So, and I still remember her costume with the peacock blue and black. It was so beautiful, and the way she was depicting Swami Rara, it is still here. It is still here, and I saw it in Jaipur when
Mm.
I was in Jaipur as a kid. And after that, what I have learned that in comparison to Bharatanatyam, if I see Kuchipudi, it is sometimes the rhythm is just on the verge of the folk,
Mm.
the folk beats. They're very, very rhythmic beats, which is uh, you can, if you little bit exaggerate, you can just gel with the folk rhythms. Then when I understood little bit of the forms, and I have seen Swapna ji and Radharaja Reddy ji and Jai Rama Rao ji in Delhi, and then I understood that you know, and as a Kathak dancer, I can say that when you are dancing on the edge, it's very complex. It's very complicated and complex to preserve that tradition, and just dancing here, that you are on the classical edge and you are just, maybe you can just going here or there, you know. So that is very attractive in Kuchipudi to me, and for me, you can say. So and as a Kathak dancer, I always attracted towards rhythm more, that is for sure. And in Kathak also, like what a style I dance, and you know, gradually we all develop our own styles, and the signature develops with your maturity and like intensity with the form. And so I always feel that in Kathak, when we do the expressions, it's, you can't exaggerate, because if you exaggerate, it can become cheap.
Mm.
And if you are doing less, maybe it will not be seen. So you have to dance on the edge. So this edge is very important, and which I can see in Kuchipudi.
That's very interesting because you're right. Because of popular cinema, both Bharatanatyam and Kathak, the Abhinay,
Yeah,
if we exaggerate, it looks very filmy.
exactly.
You know, just to
Very
use that
flashy and filmy.
word as an aesthetic, you know, because those are the two forms that we have seen so much even in popular media.
True.
You know, that choreographers have used and exploited
Yeah.
for the Bollywood and the other cinema categories. So I like it because, you know, Kuchipudi, if we look at the great maestro Vedantam Satyanarayana Garu, he hears a male performer in a Stree Vesham.
I have seen him.
Yes, and the transformation is so amazing.
That is magic.
It's magic.
How I didn't say that name, because I've seen him in Bhopal long back in a seminar called Purush, the male body in the dance.
Yes.
And he was there, and first day, previous day, I was sitting next to him. I could not believe that it is the same person.
Yes.
And lungi and bushirt, and with a good hefty body, and the way he was like standing with one leg is little tilted, and
Yes. Yes. You know, it's the same when I see some Kathakali actors who
Yeah.
have specialized in the Stree Vesham, you know, as the Sita or the Draupadi. They're, of course, small in build, but even, I mean, they just completely transform. They look so simple and unassuming in their veshti and their, you know, just a simple shirt. And then that transformation is just fabulous. So, yeah, you're talking about rhythm, Prerna.
Yeah.
And, you know, mentoring the style that you feel is on the edge, you know, that edge of both gender and the classical folk and the urban rural. And that's a very interesting idea. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing the final product because I'm feeling, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, our generation of dancers who didn't have this kind of information when we were growing up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we just had our gurus, and even for theory or whatever, we had to search and slowly read and go to a scholar and slowly find our way if we wanted to learn more about the style. Today's young people have everything available like laddu and barfi, right?
Exactly.
Ready to be fed to them.
Yes.
And yet, I feel that our generation has more staying power, in spite of disappointments or negative reviews or whatever it is, because we had the fiercest of critics at the time watching us.
Ferocious.
Yeah, all and today these young kids are so afraid of even one word that can be given as even a suggestion,
Exactly. They are not
So
ready to accept.
they're not exactly. I'm glad you said it. They're not ready to accept. So when you have a generation that's so used to listening to their own echo chamber or being listening only to their guru because they're comfortable in that equation, this cross mentoring for me is very interesting because Sharmila told me that she pushes and sometimes she fights. I mean, she argues with the mentees.
Okay.
And this is, it's a different relationship. She's not your student. Pranamya is a mentee and she's not a student.
Yes.
So I'm really interested when you say edge. I really also want to see if you're going to explore that edge between comfort and discomfort.
Yeah. So, in our last meeting with Pranamya, I told her that now you have to work on it because we have discussed few things and the subject chosen by her. And because this is my second experience with Pratiroop. And thank God that I got this opportunity. And it is a very new experience for me that you are looking at the other style from the top,
Yeah.
because when you are dancing your own style, it's it's a comfort zone. And then you are looking at the style and you want to peep in and you just want to interfere in the style also. It is little, I was hesitant in the beginning, but I was just suggesting things because last time Kirtana was with me, and fortunately both of them, Bharatnatyam and Kuchipudi, both dancers, both young dancers, very talented, and they came with a good homework, and which I always love it because including like if my students are there, I always say that I'm not going to spoon feed you because that is very important that your brain should work. And so with Pranamya, what is happening that she is there with a abstract subject, and abstraction to me is a very attractive thing because I worked on it, and it is like I always go for that, and Kathak is known for abstractions. So
Yes.
so she is working on that, and I don't know that because in my next meeting I'm going to see her that what she like, the words, how words can become the images, so that is what I'm waiting for. And because it is very tough for young dancers to break the barriers, or to push the boundaries, that because I always feel that if you are doing any experiment, the experiment should be so strong that you can push the boundaries so that it can remain in that. And it should not be like a bubble of the water, that hua or khatam ho gaya. No, it should not be like that. So you have to push, and you have to use your medium fully, because it should not be like a mime that you are making a collage and doing nothing with your feet, or nothing with, you're not using your nritta, the language, and the way you are using it is up to you, but you have to use it. So that is two or three things I always tell my mentees, that because I can't tell you that I can give you few nritta pieces also, which I can make out of my Kathak knowledge, and maybe I can borrow from Kuchipudi, and maybe I can borrow from Bharatanatyam. Because the few of the rhythmic syllables are very attractive in Bharatanatyam, and but for Kuchipudi, I have to learn it. So, but yes, I think she will come out with good imagery, and because her ideas are interesting, and but it was very tough for her to come out with the narrative prospect,
Yeah.
because Kuchipudi is full of narrations,
Yes.
So
Yes.
this narrative thread, I'm after her that to break it, just break that. Like, come out with this because you are weaving a storyline, which is every dance form has some story, because we all are. I always use this word Kathak as a metaphor, because we say that Katha kahe so Kathak, like the one who tells a story. So everyone is telling a story. So we are all Kathak. I always say that we all are Kathak. So it is like just break that how to come out with that a proper format, if you can, and it should not look just the sake of it, that you are doing it just the sake of it. That's what
Yeah, I think, these kinds of collaborations, crossing over of genres, styles, music, kinetics, because each of our classical styles has come from a certain geographic and socio-political, socio-cultural kind of area, where the language and everything, even the mannerisms, the gestures, are sort of feed into that particular style, to create that aesthetic. And for me, my takeaway is that edge. When you say the edge, the edge between comfort and discomfort, the edge between all the other things that you've mentioned. But let me tell you, you and I are fortunate to have seen lionesses like Yamini, enter the stage and just own it, And she also said in a conversation that she needed to enter with that energy, because at that time, she and Birju Maharaj were the two people always paired together for all the foreign dignitaries, and to keep up with the dazzle of Kathak.
Yes.
She had to bring in the energy of Kuchipudi, because if she was following Maharajji, she couldn't come with a Bharatanatyam
Right.
She could not come with a Bharatanatyam. She had to come with Kuchipudi energy.
Yes, here you are. Yes.
Yeah, she had to do that. So in a sense, it's right there. You have the possibility of that, harnessing that energy. And thank you for the conversation, Pretna. This has been lovely to talk to you. I look forward to seeing you on stage very soon in the new year.
Let's see. I hope also. Thank you so much, Anita.
Thank you, Pretna. And now we have the vibrant Kuchipudi artist Vaijayanti Kashi joining us. Vaijayanti is a national award-winning, eminent performer of the Kuchipudi style. And here she is going to talk about her role as mentor to an Odissi dancer, Namrata. Welcome, Vaijayanti.
Thank you.
Now, my first question is, you are a guru to your own daughter, the wonderful Pratiksha. And I'm sure mother and daughter have their fights and their moments of making up. So when you have a guru-sishya relationship, but then you have a mentor-mentee relationship. So how far do you think you can push a mentee? Like, how far would you like to nudge Namrata to discovering more things about her own form?
I think the role is the same with a guru and a mentee. The guru, you have a long time over which a period you develop a relation. But in a mentee, there's another guru who's already worked on that student. So, and she's already prepared to receive the best that a mentor can give. And when you're aware that you're given a specific time and you understand that the mentee is matured, waiting to grasp like a sponge, always, I think one of the essential qualities of a guru is she wants to give, especially when there's somebody ready to receive it. So with Namrata, See, it's a very beautiful, it's ultimately in any work or in life, it's the relation that works, that what you give and how you receive. Give and take is the essence of this relation. And I found that it was very beautiful. It was beautiful to work with this girl whose eyes she was longing to take things. And she was already, I feel that age also that she's in is so beautiful to take and we chose the theme accordingly.
How old is she?
I think she is in about 30s.
Okay, it's a nice age, yes.
She's married, she has a child. So she's that mature, blooming dancer.
Well, I think that's so important what you have just mentioned, that a woman who's had an experience of being married with somebody, a life partner, then the experience of being a mother. I think as dancers, Vaijayanti, you know, even our own body changes. You know, the way we stand and walk, everything changes once motherhood comes upon us. But, you know, I was very interested, and I'm going to share this with you, Vaijayanti. I was talking to Ramli Ibrahim in Kuala Lumpur a few years ago. And he mentioned to me that southern Orissa and Andhra, you know, had many, many common cultural and aesthetic traits. Odissi in its reconfiguration became centered around Puri, but the southern district of Ganjam in Orissa and the art that came out of there was very, very similar and had a lot of sharing with the Andhra culture. So here you are, in a sense, between Kuchipudi and Odissi, and you have, historically, you have a little bit of give and take right there. So I'm interested to know, are you going to bring some of that Kuchipudi lachak and that lovely vivacity and that fire that Kuchipudi is known for into the very sculpturous form of Odissi?
The main theme that we have taken is the Rati Bhava.
Mm-hmm.
And we have the relation between, of course, Radha and Krishna, whereas in Kuchipudi, we make it dynamic with Satyabhama and Krishna. See, while selecting the subject, I like that the mentee chooses, because she must be comfortable and it's her opportunity to create. And she had already chosen this a theme, which she gave me 3 subjects, and the theme that I selected out of the 3 and she too was fond of was Radha and Krishna. And here, Radha being obviously more subtle and more sobered down, we couldn't bring it this vibrancy of Kuchipudi, but we got about the, you know, in the solo aspect of Kuchipudi, we are so much taken from the Kalavantalu of Andhra, the Kalavantalu of Andhra. And as you rightly said, we have, as it is in the technique, many similarities between Kuchipudi and Odissi, even in the Nritta, except that because it was initially done by men, there's some rustic element. And of course, even in Odissi, it was the Gotipua later, so many things, and we have similarities. But I feel that this is a beautiful blend, more concentrated, what the subject needs, rather than trying to bring in Kuchipudi. Because as I said, I saw she had so many beautiful things that I could encash on in Odissi. So I used more the Sattvika element of Kuchipudi with the lyrical beauty and, you know, the flow of Odissi. And I think I'm happy and she's happy with what we have done.
When you say Radha and Krishna, is it a Ashtapati by Jayadeva or is it somebody else?
No, the whole piece is imagination.
Oh, okay.
And the imagination is about what could have been the conversation between Radha and Krishna in heavens. So Radha has already reached heavens before, considering that she's slightly elder to Krishna, and Krishna joins her later. So the entire piece, there was no script ready or anything available. We wanted to make it as imaginative and also give a hope that any questions that have remained unanswered when you're on earth, probably you get an opportunity to get the answer when you're in heaven. So whatever questions Radha's was, why did you leave the flute? Why did you leave me and replace the flute with your chakra? Or whatever she wanted to ask, she asks him when she meets him back in heaven. So it's an imaginative piece. And I feel when there's imagination, there's more scope for creativity as well.
Oh yes, absolutely. And also the idea that the Indian mind is able to make those leaps. You know, we don't have to say now, why is this happening? Why is that happening? We will just receive, whether it's on earth, whether it's on heaven, whether it's the flute, whether it's the Sudarshana Chakra. You know, the possibilities are infinite. I want to conclude with a question about music. Have you wanted her to keep completely to the Odissi music? Have you played with a bit of rhythm? Have you introduced or urged her to explore a little bit of the Kuchipudi bowls?
No, Anita. See, I feel these dancers, when they learn a form for a considerable amount of time, it gets embedded in their body. And being in, probably she said this was one of her first opportunities to do such a thing. She chose that, you know, she was waiting for opportunities where she'll bring in the rich nritta of Odissi, and except that we kept the lyrics very limited, unlike in Kuchipudi. And the music, of course, we all have problems. We all have problems. So very nice to know that it's a universal problem to get the scripts done, to get the music done. And but finally, she managed. She was determined, and we got a good set of musicians, which was created specially for this. And it seemed to work very well. It seemed to work very well. And I feel that, you know, when the artist is responding very beautifully, so let the flow go. And she was quite keen that, you know, she wants to present it later too. So she was more keen on keeping that Odissi element intact, which I too agree. But the ideas definitely come from, you know, me and obviously it'll be all about thinking about Kuchipudi the way it is majorly, and theatre, a blend of theatre, of course. So the ideas have a tint of Kuchipudi, of course, but the presentation will always be Odissi.
Thank you, Vaijayanti. I look forward to watching this product on the digital screen. Thank you so much for joining us in this conversation. So there you have it. 3 senior, experienced performer gurus talking about the process with 3 mentees across styles. I hope that these conversations have provided some spotlight and illumination about the challenges of working across generations and the joys that come with mutual learning. So once again, I congratulate Divya Warrier for this idea. Pratiroop will unfold on the digital platforms on the final weekend of December, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Watch for the festival, and we will have all the details at the end of this program. Thank you for watching yet another episode of Jhalak. Stay well. Namaste.